Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Dr. Robin Titus joins us. She's the State Senate Minority Leader, Republican of District 17. Here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. Our community is our foundation. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always delighted to welcome back to the program Dr. Robin Titus. She's the State Senate Minority Leader, Republican of District 17. Pleasure to have you back on the program.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So, I would ask you this question. I'm going to, but it's not going to be a surprise to me what you answer. Any surprises in this primary election?
Tons, actually, Sam, and I really appreciate the opportunity to get in front of your viewers and just kind of go over what happened in that primary election, because there were a lot of surprises. There was only one incumbent legislator that lost the election.
Howard
It was
Watts.
a Democrat in Clark County. He was the only one that lost his reelection. For your Northern Nevadan folks, Lisa Krasner had a primary challenge and she knocked it out of the ballpark. She won by a substantial margin. The biggest concern and the biggest, I think, not a surprise necessarily, but disappointment, I would say, is a CD2 congressional race. James Settlemeyer, who I consider a personal friend, who I backed, lost his bid to Dave Flippo for the CD2 congressional race. Very disappointing, but he lost by a substantial margin. I actually kind of sat back and tried to put that all together, and I know the Hansons who supported Settlemeyer also texted me the next day, what happened? How did he lose by such significant margins? Settlemeyer only won in 2 counties, Douglas and Carson. The rest of the rural counties, where we thought being an old Nevadan family, being from Nevada, having history of Nevada, was going to make a difference. Apparently it didn't. What really made a difference was President Trump's endorsement, I think turning point endorsement.
And a lot of money.
And money. And I really look back on what that meant too. How did this start? Because I literally went, but on February 7th, when Amade announced, which was way late, a surprise, nobody in my circles knew it was coming. So we had no heads up, no preparation, who was going to take over that helm, who was going to run for it. We all met. We all had calls. That morning my phone was going off the wall. People saying, are you interested? I talked to multiple different folks. Ira Hansen was thinking about it, doing it.
Paul Enos.
Paul Enos was thinking about it. Nobody was. I didn't want to go to Carson City. My role, I feel I can make a big difference here in the state of Nevada. So I wasn't going to do it. And most people that I talked to trying to talk into running weren't interested. I literally met with James Settlemeyer on his back porch begging him to run. There were many of us who asked him to run. At the end of the day, I supported him. I donated personal money, my husband and I did. My husband endorsed him, a retired sheriff. I did text for him. I put out email blasts how I supported him. It didn't make a difference. He was up against a buzzsaw. David Flippo was prepared for this. Congressional races take years sometimes to prepare, raising money, millions of dollars. I think Settlemeyer's campaign ran into a buzzsaw. Flippo saw an opportunity. Literally, I too said, you know, he was a carpetbagger. He moved up here. But at the same time, he won the race. He won it because they came in here with guns blazing, didn't hesitate to use dirty politics, hurt a lot of feelings. Before I endorsed Flippo, I texted James and said, listen, I need to let you know, heads up, that I'm going to endorse Flippo. And then he called me and we chatted, and I said, the Settlemeyer family, his friends, the people that love him have taken this personal. It was a personal attack on him, and I don't blame them for maybe never coming to the table. They're hurt because they were personal attacks. Right or wrong, I don't do that. That's not something that my campaign would do, but that's something that happened to them. And they got hammered with it, and I don't think they're going to let that go. However, my role, I believe strongly, as frankly the leader of the Republican Party in the Nevada State Legislature, is to make sure we get Republican candidates elected. At the same time, Teresa Benitez Thompson, who is running against him, who's the Democrats put up. I worked with her 4 sessions in the Assembly. She's a tough component. We cannot lose this seat. This seat is bigger than any one person. You know, I'm looking out for the state of Nevada. I'm looking out for our governor. We cannot afford to have Republicans sit at home and not vote. They won't vote for her, but they may not vote at all. That is not something we can risk.
So it's like the reverse of 2014.
Correct. Although, Sam, if you looked at the numbers overall in our state in the primary election, we had 2,000 more Republicans vote in the primary than the Democrats. That's statewide. Most of those numbers came from the north here because of that race. We can't have those people who lost that, who voted for James, myself included, stay home and not vote, because that affects our party across the state. Governor Lombardo needs to win again, and he needs rural Nevadans to show up for him. If people don't show up and vote for Flippo, they may not vote at all. We can't do that. Also, Flippo, we have like a 14%. I was just talking to my chief of staff, and what the actual registration numbers in CD2 versus Democrats, it's a 14% plus our district. Now the Cook registry or Cook political report said it was a 7% R, but that's using a lot of different numbers. The actual registration is 14%. But we cannot assume anything, as you just mentioned. In 2014, people stayed home because Biden was president. I do not want us to assume anything. You know, there's an old saying out there, you either run unopposed or you run scared.
Right, Richard Bryan said that.
And for me, my belief strongly is getting folks to turn out, vote for Flippo, we'll vote for our governor, we'll vote for down ticket. We need them. I'm working hard to pick up those 3 seats in Clark County and put us in the majority in the Senate. The path is still there, but it can't happen if people stay home.
So you're right that there was not a lot of time. I mean, even though it seems like several months would be enough time, and the governor and Mark Amodei putting their arms around James Settlemyre, one would think would be enough to convince rural Nevada. But President Trump is very strong in rural Nevada. They are supportive of what he's been doing, and they are supporting of what he's been doing here in the Silver State. Turning Point put a lot of money into this, and that campaign was ready for CD4 against Congressman Horsford, so they did have all their weapons in place. The other part is that, you know, for so long, CD2 has been taken for granted. You and I both remember going back to the beginning of CD2, Barbara Vukanovich, there was nobody that was going to bump her out, and it remained Republican all the way through. Mark Amodei never raised a lot of money. He didn't believe in raising a lot of money. And I think that the machinery wasn't in place for James to raise a lot of money on a personal basis. And the National Party, you know, the Republican Party, didn't look at Nevada and go, oh, well, you know, maybe there's a problem. Because really, they don't care. As long as they get a Republican in, they're happy. So, I mean, I think there were a lot of missteps along the way. You're absolutely right that Teresa Benitez Thompson is a strong fighter. If you watched her debate on this program before the primary, you could see that she was, it was and is a strong fighter. Do you fear that there is going to be something like there was for Harry Reid, where there were Republicans for Reid, that you might see Republicans for Benitez Thompson, TBT?
I hope not, because that is not.
Have you even heard whispers?
I haven't even heard whispers. What I'm hearing is that people are pretty upset. And again, I understand, especially the personal friends, the family of Settlemyre. I understand that they're upset, and I understand they're probably not going to get over it and not vote. But I haven't heard of anybody. My own son said, man, because he's strong supporter of Settlemyre also. He said, man, I might just have to vote for TBT. And I reached out, I said, Buck, that's my son's name. I said, you know, and I gave him he said, oh, don't worry, Mom, I'm not going to vote for her. I'm going to vote for him. I'll vote for Flippo. And I think that first reaction is, man, I see them either not voting. That's my biggest fear, is that they won't show up and vote. The other thing, Sam, is that I feel strongly that he's going to be our next congressman. He really doesn't know much about rural Nevada. And I want to make sure that I have him on speed text and speed dial and know that I can help educate him on some of the things that my beloved rural Nevada needs. And if you have a person in Congress that has, so you guys didn't support me, I don't care, I'm here supporting our president, and good for him, but he's there to represent us. How can he represent us, Northern Nevada, if he doesn't know much about Northern Nevada?
So, all right, well, here's the other part, too. Now, you're talking a lot about rural Nevada, rightly so, but Washoe County, Reno Sparks, Carson City are big players in this as well.
Right.
And so convincing the folks in Reno Sparks and Washoe County, 500,000 people, has got to be a very fast and big deal to get them involved. Because if you don't have them, you're definitely not going to retain that vote.
And he won Washoe County, though. To be clear, he won Washoe County. And so I think that's really important. And so Washoe County needs to have an ear. We need to get behind him so that when the representatives of Northern Nevada say, hey, this is an issue for my district, I want to make sure we have that contact with him. And that was my first feeling about, number one, we need him to get out the vote. We need him to support our governor. We need to have relationship building. And again, I understand the frustration for many that were hurt by the attack that he did on Settlemyre, but the reality
releasing the sealed documents.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's absolutely wrong.
Okay, so let me take the other side of the argument I just made, which is politics is a contact sport.
Right.
Okay, I mean, as much as we all are human beings, if you're going to get in the political game, you're going to have to be a fighter, and if you're not, then don't get in.
Right.
And so, you know, politics ain't beanbag, as they say. Right. I have no idea what that phrase actually means, but the bottom line is that one has to get rid of one's personal feelings, and I'm presuming that, you know, you're all about party versus personal feelings. It's important to you to maintain that Republican seat and to send another Republican back to D.C. That's your only mission as leader of the Senate for the Republicans.
100%. And so at the same time, you know, I've had people very upset with me that I've gone ahead and endorsed him. And as I told you, I spoke.
How do you not?
Yeah, you know, that's thank you, because I believe that also. How do we not get behind him? And again, there will be people who just can't cross over that bridge. I had a conversation with Dean Hiller many years ago regarding getting behind President Trump. And Dean just said, man, there's just some things I just can't do. Well, and then now he's moved from Nevada, living in Idaho, in Utah.
Yeah.
And so I get that. I get there's some lines that there's in their gut, they just aren't going to get behind him. And I can accept that. But for me, the greater good is making sure that we get people to turn out, that we represent Nevada, Northern Nevada, Washoe, and the rurals in Congress, that the person doing that truly understands what our issues are. And so I'm going to support David Flippo, and I'm going to support our governor, and I'm going to support our candidates running in all of the races.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Dr. Robin Titus after this timeout.
My whole life has been public service. It's about people. And when we work together instead of yelling at each other, we get things done. We don't always get everything we want, but that's our system of government. Give and take. We don't give up. We keep working. We keep pushing. And when we break ground on Nevada's first children's hospital, when crime rates come down, and when graduation rates improve, that motivates me. That's why I do it.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Dr. Robin Titus. She is the state Senate Minority Leader, Republican of District 17. What was the influence of dark money in the CD2 race?
Interesting question, thank you. I think a lot of folks who have lost, whether it's up and down the state from the CD2 district to Michelle Fiore's Justice of the Peace race in Nye County, to Howard Watts, Democrat in Clark County, all blame dark money on their losses. And I'm not even sure what that means. Is that money that they can't track? Both sides are looking at that. In Howard's race, they talked about Sierra Pacific Power and some of the big lobby corporations spending money. Michelle thought it was Democrats somewhere money against her. Settlemyer here in the north thinks there's some really dark money that got into Flippo's campaign, and maybe it's just money that we can't trace.
Right.
And I think it's in the shadows somewhere. But there's tons of PACs on both sides that jump in. And I think the advantage in the CD2 race was that Flippo had money and raised money long before Settlemyer got into the race. And so dark money isn't necessarily bad money. It's money that's used to influence a race, but all races have to have money. And I think if you went back to James and asked him, and certainly Greg Baylor, his campaign person, where were they? He would say, he'd be the first to say they were behind from the start because of this money that was out there in Flippo's campaign.
All right, let me reverse this. Okay, so you have talked to Dave Flippo. You have called him on this program a carpetbagger. What have your conversations been with him now about his relationship to CD2 and how to deal with the issues and what the issues are What does he know? Share with us, because we've invited him on the program, and hopefully we're going to get him on the program very soon. But what can you tell us?
Well, so what I've done, when I had a call with him just last week, my suggestion was that he get out and get some of these coffee groups, get with some of these small groups. Every single small community has a group of farmers or ranchers. Washoe has a group of the local guys at either the hall, the veterans groups. All of them get there and have coffee with them. Come to Douglas County. Sit down, the county that he lost. Sit down with those folks. They're having a hard time. I had purchased, and I couldn't be there for the Carson Valley days. But I reached out, but I had a float. I reached out to him to be part of that, and he was there in that community. And I think the best thing to do is show up. He ran his race. Take that criticism, but he was still there.
Do you find him personable? Do you find him knowledgeable about national issues, regional issues, Nevada issues?
He certainly does, and I also said, though, I'd like him to reach down to those coffee shop guys or the local cigar guys or wherever he chooses to go and find out what those, because all politics are local. Each community has similar problems, but they all have unique problems. Make sure he comes out to the communities. And I think that's really I was reassured. He lives in Reno now. He represents Washoe County. He will be here except from times when he has to be back in DC. But he wants to hear from his community. He is willing. The gentleman is a retired lieutenant colonel from the military. He understands leadership. He understands reaching out to folks, and he's going to use that. And I think that's the key. He has to make that personal contact. And I've encouraged him to do so. I've given him events in my community that we have. We have Smith Valley Fun Days. He needs to be there.
Okay, but I mean, there's 1 million people in CD2. To be able to reach those in what is a relatively short period of time, because we're already in summer now, and so this is the time people are going on vacation. Just having a campaign in the middle of all the other campaigns from September onward is not going to be enough. Does he have to start a broadcast campaign immediately with radio, TV, digital, all the rest? Because the governor has not gone off the air. Right. The governor has been on the air, and including on this program. PACs supporting the governor have been on this program, along with all this other media, and they are determined that Governor Lombardo's successes are not going to be left out of people's minds. Doesn't he need to do the same thing in CD2?
100%. He's got to earn the trust. He's got to meet them where they are, though. It is going to be busy. It's a daunting task, but I feel he's up to it. He has to be up to it. He can't just sit back. And per the conversation I've had with him, he's not going to sit back and rest on his laurels from the primary. He's going to go out.
Let's take another break and we'll be right back.
Hear ye, hear ye. All hail the $75,000 Cash is King giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Rule the kingdom with cash giveaways every Thursday and Saturday. And live royally with up to $10,000 in winnings every week. Eat, play, win. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
At Nevada Urban Indians in Reno, your health is our priority. Our medical clinic welcomes everyone. We accept all insurances, ensuring quality care is within reach. Nevada Urban Indians, your partners in health.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. Life just feels harder these days. Our governor, Joe Lombardo, gets that. That's why he's fighting to improve lives right here in Nevada. We want to provide for our families. Governor Lombardo cut regulations that help bring over 84,000 new jobs here, while also fighting to lower the cost of housing. And his crime bills have made our neighborhoods and schools safer. We can't control the global economy, but Governor Lombardo is fighting to improve lives here in Nevada. Thank you, Governor Lombardo.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Dr. Robin Titus. She's the State Senate Minority Leader, Republican of District 17. Data centers. It is the most fascinating thing I've ever seen, where the entire world is on their phones, their computers, their laptops, watching Netflix, Prime, Apple TV, you name it. And now there is this swell of people saying no data centers in the cities in Reno, Sparks, Henderson, Boulder City, moratoriums, not saying you can't have them. The governor came out last week and was positive about what they're doing. Did the industry just fall behind in their promotion to be able to say all the good things that they're bringing to Nevada?
I think so. That was one of the top political questions down to the county commissioner races, obviously governor's races and congressional races is how do you feel about data centers? My response to folks when they ask me the question is, a lot of folks think that when they're on their cell phone and it's in the cloud, somewhere it's this mysterious cloud. Well, it's not a mysterious cloud. It actually has to be held in the data centers. And as long as you continue to do all the AI and all that expanse, we have to have them somewhere. Or they go to China. Where do you want your information kept? Do you want it kept secure here in the States? Or do you want China to build a data center? Finally, the data centers, the new data centers are not the data centers of old. People have a right to be concerned about water usage and power uses. I support data centers, but I do not support any government subsidies of data centers. I do not support taxpayers increasing their rate so that they can get power, and I do not support them using up somebody else's water. If they have their power, they have the new forms, which minimal water use, and if a willing seller is willing to sell their land and have it on their land, I say it's better than going to China, with all those caveats, however, and all the control.
And that's where we have to leave it. Senator Titus, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and everybody, please, please vote in the November elections and vote for Republicans. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Stack up the wins during Carson Valley Inn's Summer Toys and Big Cash giveaways. Cash drops every Thursday and Saturday with over 450 winners. Plus, win a new side-by-side or $12,000 in cash at each event. Free wheels, free play, and bigger thrills. Only at Carson Valley Inn.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
Nevada Newsmakers is available as a podcast. It's also available on YouTube anytime you want to watch or listen. Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers.